This is one of many videos about wavy edge block letters. So in this one, I'm going to create a few different styles of the wavy edge block letters. I'm going to put them together to create a word. And I'm writing, because the format for video, I want this video to work on multiple platforms. So I'm keeping it vertical. So I'm writing the word, kind of stacking the letters of the word, which can make it's a nice way to make a design out of a word, but it may not be the format that you're going to be writing your words in. It's not it's not the easiest to read when written this way. And again, that's not a good or bad thing. You just want to keep that in mind. So this is not an example of an easy to read word. This is more how to put letters together, letter styles together when you want to do more of just like some fancier letters, just so you can see how they work well together and to give you some ideas. So I'm just doing the left side in a fairly thick wavy line on the top two letters. And then I'm on the bottom letters, I'm making the wavy line inside the letter, just on the bottom part, and I'm going horizontally. So you can, if it's hard for you to picture one or the other, you're getting confused with both of them on the page, you can just kind of cover up either the top or the bottom, and just look at those letters alone. Then what I'm doing is on the bottom letters, I'm going back and just adding a wavy line on kind of the left hand side of the inner part of the letter. As you can see, it just balances out a little bit more, and then I'm doing that on the right hand side of the outside of the letter, so opposite of the wavy line that I drew on the left. There wasn't much room in between the W and the A, which is why it's very small. That wavy line I drew on the outside is very small, but you can see that made that line so much thicker and bolder, so it's a little bit easier to read, especially from a distance. And now what I'm doing is I'm just creating some lines. I'm drawing some very quick lines, no ruler, but I'm drawing them all, and leaving a little bit of distance. This is a quick way to kind of fill in a space when you want it, just add a little bit of color, or you want it to be a little bolder, but you don't have time to color it in solid, because coloring things in solid does take a lot of time. It also takes a lot of ink. And so this is a great way to get around that time crunch. And also it's a lot neater. So this is a way where you can, give your page a little bit more color without taking a whole lot of time. I also wanted to point out on this, as you can see on the top two letters, they kind of slant up. They start down on the left, they slant up to the right. The bottom two letters I did reverse. So they start up at the on the left hand side, and they go down to the right. If you're going to be using lines like this to create some shading, you want them to be fairly neat and fairly consistent. You don't want to mix up your lines too much, or the word is going to be harder to read. So if you had them starting on if you alternated the letters, that would create a very different effect. Starting one letter, like if I did the W the way it is and the V the way it is, and those were next to each other, and alternating that type of pattern, it creates a busier look, which can be good in some situations, but it can also be distracting in some. So that's just something to keep in mind. You want to keep your letters consistent. The more consistent your letters are when they're in a word, the easier that word will be to read, especially from a distance. So hopefully this gives you some information and inspiration, so you can start putting some wavy block letters together to create your own words and have some fun with it.